The Galactic Military Academy floated in the void between stars, a massive station where the galaxy's finest came to learn the art of warfare. For 3 centuries, species from across known space had trained here, learning discipline, strategy, and above all control. Commander Vexter, a towering Krillian with azure scales and 4 calculating eyes, stood before the assembled cadets. "Control separates soldiers from savages," he declared, his voice resonating through the combat simulation chamber. "Today, you will demonstrate what you have learned." Among the 70 cadets, 2 humans stood out, not for their size, which was unremarkable, but for the curiosity they generated. Humans were newcomers to the galactic stage, their admission to the Academy controversial. Many questioned whether these emotional, unpredictable creatures belonged among the disciplined warriors of established civilizations. Eva Chun adjusted her tactical visor, her dark eyes scanning the simulation parameters. Beside her, Oliver Drake checked his weapons charge with practiced efficiency. They'd been partners since arrival, the only 2 humans in their cohort, bound by shared isolation and determination. "Humans," Vexter's gaze fixed on them, "you will face the Zenith Protocol. Survive 30 minutes with minimal casualties. Show us your control." The other cadets exchanged knowing glances. The Zenith Protocol was designed to test restraint under extreme pressure, a scenario where overwhelming force would lead to mission failure. The Draxian cadets, masters of patient strategy, had completed it with 0 casualties. The Thalurian hive mind had achieved perfect synchronization. Even the aggressive Korth warriors had demonstrated the discipline to hold back. The simulation began. Eva and Oliver materialized in an urban war zone. Holographic civilians fled through smoke-filled streets, while enemy combatants' sophisticated AI constructs held defensive positions throughout the city. The mission parameters were clear: neutralize the command center while preserving civilian lives and infrastructure. Collateral damage would result in point deductions. Excessive force meant failure. "By the book," Oliver muttered, taking position behind cover. "Slow and controlled." Eva nodded, already mapping routes through her tactical display. They moved like the Academy had taught them: calculated, measured, economical. They bypassed enemy patrols, used non-lethal takedowns when necessary, and advanced with textbook precision. For 15 minutes, they were model cadets. Then the simulation changed. Without warning, the enemy AI adapted, implementing a tactic the cadets hadn't encountered. The command center activated a district-wide suppression field, trapping thousands of civilians. In 2 minutes, the field would collapse the buildings, crushing everyone inside. The simulation's cruel genius became clear. There was no controlled solution. The enemy knew the cadets' limitations, exploited their training to save the civilians. Ava and Oliver would need to abandon control entirely. In the observation deck, Vexter watched with grim satisfaction. "Now we see the truth," he said to his fellow instructors. "When control is impossible, they will freeze. They will fail, as humans always do when emotions override logic." But Eva and Oliver didn't freeze. "New plan," Eva said, her voice eerily calm. Something shifted in her eyes, not panic, but a cold calculation that transcended the Academy's teachings. "We go loud." Oliver understood immediately. "The others will call it reckless. Let them." Ava's smile held no humor. "They've never had to win impossible fights." What happened next would be analyzed in Academy tactical courses for decades. Eva and Oliver stopped fighting like galactic cadets and started fighting like humans. They didn't abandon strategy. They abandoned the galaxy's definition of it. Where their training demanded patience, they chose overwhelming speed. Where doctrine required precision, they employed creative chaos. Oliver rigged a commandeered enemy weapon into an improvised EMP device, something not in any manual, born from human innovation under pressure. Eva synchronized their assault with a calculated recklessness that would horrify traditional tacticians. Using herself as bait to draw enemy forces into a kill zone, they didn't preserve infrastructure, they weaponized it, collapsing a parking structure onto enemy reinforcements, turning the city's own terrain against defenders. They didn't minimize engagement, they maximized confusion, hitting from unexpected angles with improvised tactics. I couldn't predict. The civilians? Ava calculated that saving them required accepting what the galaxy called unacceptable losses in other areas. She made the call in 3 seconds. Oliver trusted her judgment without question. When the suppression field's countdown reached 30 seconds, they breached the command center not through careful infiltration, but through a wall, using explosives crafted from simulation resources in ways the designers never intended. 15 seconds remaining. Oliver disabled the field while Eva held off the counterattack. Her weapon fire frighteningly accurate, despite or because of the chaotic fury of her assault. The field collapsed harmlessly. Mission complete. 28 minutes, 14 seconds. All civilians saved. Command center neutralized. The simulation ended. Silence filled the observation deck. Every instructor, every senior cadet stared at the tactical readout in disbelief. The humans had succeeded where success should have been impossible. Vexter's 4 eyes narrowed. Explain yourselves. You abandoned every principle of control we teach. Eva stood at attention, but her voice carried no apology. With respect, Commander, you don't understand what control means to humans. For us, control isn't about holding back. It's about channeling everything we are. Creativity, aggression, fear, hope, and directing it with absolute precision toward victory. We didn't lose control. We never had it the way you define it. Oliver added quietly, you taught us to fight like you. We showed you how we fight when nothing else works. Vexter studied them for a long moment. Around him, the galaxy's military elite reconsidered their assumptions about these strange, dangerous newcomers. You came here to learn control, Eva continued. Maybe we came here to teach you that sometimes controlled chaos wins wars your control never could. The commander's scales rippled, a Krillian gesture of grudging respect. The humans had passed a test they weren't supposed to pass, in a way no one anticipated. They had shown the galaxy what humanity meant, and the galaxy would never underestimate them again.